wants us to keep continuing down the path where we are replacing our perfect posture to get back to guard and some other tricks as he's shown us before, and we have plans. I'm sure he's got lots of subs for us on Friday. Today we're going to be working replacing the guard position, but not maybe with our standard half guard or a closed full guard. We work in more of the fun positions where I personally like to work a little bit more, or at least get into to see what options I'm going to have available. First one we're going to go to is replacing butterfly guard when we can't get all the way back to our full closed guard. All right, and then tip the hat. The second one we're going to get into is to get around, at least to introduce to how to get into X guard. If we do go to recover the guard, get to our nice position where we're breaking and we get our hands where we need to be, our foot's not down or they're going to bump and take full mount, and we're up here nice and relaxed. So, as a part of this drill, he's had this doing for a long time, we're going to, of course, not just magically up here in this position, start working from here today with the 1 foot down, the knee is up and in, my foot is hanging out here, right? I'm across, as we all know that he likes to bring this up, and then once we do, even if we have to frame here to get back to our position, we're then controlling the arm, right? So that they can't attack or gain chin or any of the stuff that they would do to lay us down flat on our back. So the first one that we're going to work isn't just magically appearing there. Partner, give him a little bit of play today when we do start, but remember we have the way I always like to think about it is my number one option is if he's just going to let me get my hand in front, that's the first thing I always try, because then I can start to lift and replace my guard and get to my posture. So if option number one, for me the easiest, isn't available, because he's got his head down or he's riding high, then the other one is what? Remember, we're not holding on to him and pushing this way, because then my hand's going to be trapped. I'm going to be cutting the slice over and then trying to replace. If I still can't get it, what's our last one? Put down. Rock back, push him, replace the arm, swim back in, get back to our perfect posture. All right. So first we're going to start with, of course, getting that arm out. Our posture, our partner might let us try one. They might let us try number two. We might have to push away to clear the arm, come back to number three. Once we get to our posture, here's the first part of what we're going to do today. Whether he is loading me up or if he stepped in front with his hip, sometimes he'll check me here, sometimes he'll put his hand on my knee and make it a little bit harder for me to get through there, right? All we're going to work on right now, this first part, is taking my plant foot, staying up, staying nice and tight, dominating this arm, and I'm going to take my heel, put it nice and close to my butt. Every once in a while, I got to make a little bit of an adjustment with my shoulder to scoot, depending on the flexibility of your knees. So I'm going to come here, make a little bit of a scoot, take this free foot that I was slanting on, I'm going to place it right underneath where my control point is on the hip. All right. At that point, all I'm going to do is bring the knee that he or she may or may not be blocking up towards the chin, and I'm going to try and replace my butterfly guard by pulling my foot across the belt and sticking my right foot in. So, I got my arm free with whatever tactic needed. Got back to my perfect guard posture. I'm having a problem for whatever reason. I'm just going to take my plant foot, give it a little scoot for some space, put it right inside here. Almost like I'm going to start to run my X guard. Now I'm going to take the hand that was on my knee, I'm going to grab it and shove it in so I get a little bit of freedom of movement. The knee's going to travel up, come down, and I'm going to look to replace my underhooks on my head position to get into my double butterfly. All right. If those of you guys that know them, you want to finish repeating the sweeps that we've broken down here in the past, breaking them down, moving them over, go ahead and do that in the reset. All right. We'll play with this for about 5 to 8 minutes. It should be pretty straightforward. I'm placing that double butterfly from side down position. Again, we just recap some of our more fundamental stuff where, whether I like to call it option one, or whether it's option two to recover the arm, or maybe I tried option one, didn't work, tried option two, and I've got to get that wide of the armpit to recover that arm, get back to my great position, right? Or the perfect posture that we're looking for. So, we get back in there this time, and whether we couldn't work fully to he blocks the knee or doesn't. Maybe I just want to look for my single or double butterfly guard. Real quick side note, I mentioned this to one or two of you guys just a minute ago. If you're more flexible and you can just put this in right here, you don't always have to make that hip adjustment or wiggle. But as a side note, later on, if you do get used to making this hip adjustment, you can start to come up and block these arms too with swimming that knee inside. So we're not working that today, but just something to think about is today we're going here. Later on, we can start working up into any of this type of stuff you want to get to, right? So, we're back here in our perfect posture. Boom. I come into here, but now Chad starts to really smother me. Chad starts to really smother me, whether they're chicken winging this knee or he's stepped up and kept tight, and I don't want to play this option yet, all I'm going to end up doing is taking this knee that was already, in. We already set this foot down here, and we mentioned that it's basically a modified X-guard at this point. We're not going to play with it a whole bunch more. Maybe he jammed the knee or he stayed tight, and I can't get this foot through, right, to get into my double butterfly. So, again, quick side note. When we have a single or a double butterfly in, do we want to be laying on our back? If I had a double butterfly, do I want to be right here? No, whenever you have butterflies in, right, I'm always trying to fight for any of these positions. So, the X-guard, personally, is my third favorite option, or I should say, one of my least favorites if I have to use it, because I've gotten to here, I decide not to go half guard, I start to put my butterfly in to work for some of my tools. He starts to smash me, starts to bring that knee up, which is why I can't get my second butterfly and get to my posture. So let's work with what we have, right? Jiu-jitsu's technique, not power. All I'm going to start to do is hook the knee, and I got to remember, I can't stay parallel with my opponents at this point. I still like to have this pressure right here to where if they stack me too much, I can start to back them off. All I'm going to do is start to look to a hook, and there's the old saying I say, I can choose to bring my head to their knee or their knee to my head. Either way, I've got to create this thing where I'm not Chris at no angle or Chris at a 45, where I'm basically Chris at 90. All right, last thing we got to do is get rid of this knee. Well, once I get into here, it's just sticking in there. I can't move him, I can't rock him too much. So, same time we're hooking the leg, we're going to drop the knee down and we're going to get to true X-guard. So here we go. We swam our arm, we've gotten back to posture. I've started to place my other hook in. They start to jam. I'm just going to take my knee and put it right down in between the cross so I can get a good bite, nice little purchase, and also lift his leg. At the same time, I'm doing what? Bringing my head to the knee or the knee to my head. I like to keep him up and off, and we're just going to get into the read position today. We spent whole weeks here with Pat, right, on how we can buck, take the back pass, all the fun stuff to do from here. So we're just going to get into that X-guard sweep position. Last time. Recover the arm, right? Easy way or hard way. Get to our perfect posture position. He starts to stack that knee as I put the far side butterfly in. I'm going to go X-guard rather, so I've got to drop the knee in between the crotch and cut the angle underneath the knee. Lift, into my read position. Okay? Sometimes you guys can go armpit, start to work to control the arm. All right, there's lots of fun stuff we can do. Partner, practice it. Getting into X-guard from perfect posture while replacing side down.